Tawnie Romero Golic, aka the Neuro Mermaid, is a Midwest-born stroke and brain aneurysm survivor, content creator, and awareness ambassador for the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation. After surviving two brain surgeries, she now shares her journey through nervous system support, brain education, and mermaid magic, uh, showing others that healing can be soft, sparkly, and radically empowering. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tawny in here, and let's see if I can figure this out here. And there's
Hello. Okay, so I was 28 years old, healthy, no high blood pressure, no family history, nothing except for the fact that I have had migraines since I was 15 years old. If you deal with migraines, let me know. I don't say this to scare people, but I had CT scans, tons of different scans. Um, and actually, in February, I was in Ohio and I had a different neurologist, and he said, "Why don't we do an MRA?" Well, my insurance denied me of that scan in February. And I say that because in May, my brain aneurysm ruptured. So if we would have scanned, we could have probably prevented that from happening. So I like to advocate and share that with others because he now uses my story every time insurance says, but they're too young. Having migraines since you're 15, that's not normal. So why didn't we do more scans? But I went to work that day. I worked in special education. I had a headache. It was a loud day. I came home. It was Cinco de Mayo. I told my brother, I'm going to shower and then I want you to drop me off at my boyfriend's house. And while I was in the shower, I felt like a baseball bat hit me in the head. It came on suddenly, worst migraine of my life. I had to catch myself in the shower, and my brother actually ended up having to help me out of the shower. I threw up immediately. The sensitivity to light was like nothing I've ever felt, but I did the dangerous thing that so many people do. And I said, let me just go to sleep and see how I feel in the morning. So I did that the first night. The next day, my mom went out of town and she was like, "What's Tawny still doing?" And my dad's like, "She's just sleeping. Like she's not, she like can't seem to stay awake." And so my mom said, "That's not right. I don't like this. Maybe it's meningitis because her neck is so stiff." So that night he drove me to the emergency room. And on my way to the emergency room, I was like, I see the same semi. I was like, I see the semi in front of us, but I'm like, I see another semi right here. I go, I'm seeing double. And you don't see double from migraines. So I'm saying all these keys because if you're a migraine sufferer, like the difference was it was immediate light sensitivity and like nothing else. I threw up. I don't usually throw up from my migraines. My neck was extremely stiff. I was seeing double. I thought I was in so much pain. That's why I was having difficulty articulating, but it was more about that I was bleeding in my brain. So at that emergency room, they heard 28-year-old migraine sufferer, and all they did was inject me with nerve blockers. So they didn't scan me, which I now look back and I'm like, if you're going to recognize my pain, how about we look under the hood before you just numb it? Just an
yeah.
idea.
Well, see,
So
that's a crazy thing. Like I had a brain tumor at 30, and like I was working at the time. I was working as a physical therapist in San Diego, and I kind of knew like from school like what all the symptoms were, but they didn't add up. Like nausea, dizziness, and headaches, and lo
And
and
it's
behold,
not always right. It's not like some people, yes, they pass out, they have a seizure. It's very obvious. But there's a lot of us who are like, something's just not right. And I share that because if you're around someone and they keep bugging and are complaining about it, I'm like, you know what? it's better to go to the emergency room and be wrong and alive than
Yeah.
just ignore it. So I did that. They sent me home. It was a weekend. You guys all know how that is. I called my neurologist. I got that, emergency number where they're like, well, if it's an emergency, go to the ER. And I'm like, I already went to the ER. They did nothing. So I waited till Monday. I called my neurologist again. He heard I was in the ER. I understand why. All he did was prescribe me steroids. He said, well, there's nothing else I could do. Here's steroids. Call me by Friday if it doesn't go away. Every day I kept waking, I was just in so much pain. I was like, whoever can help me. So I called my primary doctor. I went in to go see him. I remember him saying, I'm not a neurologist. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And he's like, maybe your allergy medicine in shot form will help. So I got that. So that's three different doctors misdiagnosing me. Okay. And finally, what started happening was my bleed was in my posterior communicating artery. So I was dripping blood on my orbital socket, and my left eye started crossing in. So when I woke up on the 12th, my eye was crossing in, and that's when I was like, that's a new symptom. That's not right. That's something we should get checked. So I went to the emergency room. That person checking you in, there was luckily a nurse with her, and she goes, I started saying, worst headache of my life, and I'm like, and my eye is now crossed in, and she was like, come with me right now. So they finally scanned me, said I had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. They did not have a doctor there who could do the angiogram and see where the bleed was, so they life flighted me to the Cleveland Clinic,
Wow.
where I had, because I had been missed for a whole week. And when they went in, they figured she probably stopped rupturing. It probably closed itself off. I was still bleeding. Like, he goes, you were this close to death. He's like, I don't know how you went a whole week bleeding in your brain. Like, it is a miracle that I am walking and talking. And that is why I share my story. That's why I heal so loudly. I'm an awareness ambassador because of that misdiagnosis. So I was walking around with half done brain surgery for 7 years until around my seventh anniversary. I started noticing my equilibrium being off and just some other things. And so, again, I had to advocate and say, I need a scan. Something's not right. They heard mermaid. They said it's an inner ear problem. You got water. And I'm like, it's not that. I know it isn't. These are different. And I told the doctor, I go, I will go your route, but I also want us to do what I'm saying. So I share that because as a survivor, like, your doctors, I don't have all the education, but I know my body and they don't. And so you do, it's like, I will listen to you and we will go your route, but I also need you to investigate what I'm saying because I know my body. And sure enough, I did all the inner ear stuff. It was not an inner ear. Finally, they did my scan and they said that my coils were slipping and my aneurysm, and I had a new aneurysm right by the old one. So I flew out to Ohio, back to where I had the original, because I'm in California right now. And I had three coils put in and finally a stent. So now it's certified, not certified, but it's like blocked up, because I know when I say that my coils were slipping, that can scare a lot of survivors, but I have to explain it's because I had no stent in there. So imagine no fence blocking in those coils to stay there. So it was a matter of time for them to move. I was just a weird case. And that was 2 years ago. So I'm happy to report that I had my most recent scan, and the doctor even pulled out his phone to take a picture of my brain because he goes, wow, that is a good looking brain. Like that, we did good. So,
Wait,
um,
so you're only 28 at the time?
yeah, I was 28 when, so hemorrhagic stroke at 28. Always get you, but you look too young, and I was like, and no family history. So, the doctors think they go, there's a small percentage, I think it's like 10%, they think are just born with an aneurysm, a malformation, and, mine just ruptured.
So have you met a lot of other AVM survivors, or
I have very fortunately, of being an awareness ambassador with the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation. One of our phrases is it's only rare until it happens to you. So, but if you have not connected with other survivors, because all the doctors kept telling you was how different you are, how different, it's very true. We are all different. We're beautiful little snowflakes. But what's amazing is we do have a lot of commonalities. So I started doing some virtual support groups and started hearing people saying things that resonated with me. And I was like, wow, I'm not so alone. Like other people, I'm 9 years out and my face still sometimes will just randomly go numb. And I have to go, oh, am I having a stroke again? Like, what's happening? No, is this just tingling?
Yeah,
Is this a new, is this just
yeah.
a new? And then,
There's always that fear, like in the back of your head, that something could go wrong. Like
yes. And
Survivor, like that for the first 10 years, like that was just you know extremely nerve wracking, at least for
having
me.
to learn how to trust your body again and not be in fight or flight. Like I say the whole time, I'm trying to get out of survival mode. I was like, because I still, when something happens, my first thought is still, I'm going to die. Cause like I almost did. So I'm trying to change things to not be so reactive.
That's interesting. So, can I ask you, like, do you feel like you take better care of yourself now? I mean,
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh
can
yeah.
you describe some of the life changes that you that you've taken up?
Um, I definitely like right now. I'm surprised. I usually when I'm outside, like I have a hat on or sunglasses.
Yeah,
I you pretty much always see me in my eyeglasses. It's not that my eyesight's that bad. It's just from my eye going crossed in, and it's just more sensitive. And I say my eyes get tired if I don't wear my glasses all the time. I definitely have had to learn the hard way, which so many of us with neuro fatigue. I can try to keep up with everybody. I can try and do everything, but my body will stop. And um, it's usually like my husband, in fact, sometimes he's like, I thought you were mad at me because, I do nothing but talk. And after I'm overwhelmed or when I'm at an event and there's sensory overload, I get
yeah.
real quiet and I'm just kind of there watching everybody. And people are like, are you really mad? You're like not talking. I'm like overwhelmed right now, man. Like I can't even think a thought. So I have definitely had to learn how to get to know this new me and biohacking, like the supplement game. Like I say, I kind of feel like I use the analogy of we're cars. And so I have a hoopty. I got a messed up car. We got some new things in it. So I cannot be just throwing bad gas in there and just like bad parts. So like if I can upgrade it with, some other things, some electrolytes, some whatever, I know a lot of us, the lion's mane and different mushrooms and different things. So I am very big into the herbal remedies because of right after my surgery, I took everything that they told me to, and I kept having all these bad side effects. And I'm not here to tell you to not take your medicine. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you have to find your own journey and what works for you. And there were a lot of side effects for those things. So I love, people like, oh, you have trouble sleeping. Why don't you take, an Ambien? I'm like, whoa, why are we going that extreme when like maybe I could have some like a lavender, like a little tea, chamomile. Like let's try some other things. So that's been
That's the
helpful.
thing. Like, I don't know if you like. For me, fatigue was a big issue after my brain surgery. I found that like taking a daily siesta around 3 or 4 o'clock that
Yep.
works big for me, and that
Yes.
definitely helps with the fatigue.
And I even call them some because I know a lot of survivors like I can't nap. I call them a brain break. Sometimes I just lay in bed and I just close like not watch a movie, not do things because you're still absorbing that, but just like take 20 minutes to just like unplug and
Yeah.
just
So, Tawnie, can I ask you where exactly was the stroke? Like, where was the bleed?
my posterior communicating artery.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
pretty close to the circus of Willis. So that's why they're like it's pretty crazy that like I know it's just amazing that I don't have the physical deficits. All of mine are invisible.
Awesome.
Like I just tell people when they're like, "You look fine, everything looks good." I'm like, "Blood was in my brain for a whole week." Like there are
Yeah.
things that are there and not, and I try and explain it sometimes like in a watch how the cogs are. Like I was like, I just feel like they're there, but there's like chinks missing, or sometimes it's just not flowing like it used to.
Yeah, because like I think it's great that you found so many. Is there a large stroke young adult stroke community, or I'm just learning
There,
about stroke stuff right now. There's so many similarities between stroke survivors and brain tumor survivors. So I think
absolutely. That's why I've even tried to be more broad with like cerebral vascular disorders. So, like, if you just had anything with your brain, concussions, like, there's so many different commonalities. There was not. I'm super grateful that with social media, like, I remember in the beginning it was only old people. And then luckily, like, I found Maddie about 6 years ago and we started going live every Sunday. She also had a stroke at 23. And so we've done that. And I feel like through social media, so many more people have realized the benefits of, like I say, it's a living diary. Like, I'm sharing my journey and my healing. And with that, it's helped me make connections with other people. It's also helped me, my second brain cert. It was actually a lot of people on my lives were like, you're really complaining about your equal, like your balance being off a lot more. And so it was like I was feeling that way, but then I have all these other people like, yeah, I'm noticing you're having more headaches, Tawnie. You're having more of these. And so they actually helped me advocate more for myself.
through a lot. Like, so what exactly are you doing now?
Luckily, I have my own business, and that's really nice. So being able to, they're the ketone drinks that I drink. So it's nice to be able to work from home. So I have that business. It's international. We're in 6 countries, all virtual. And then I also help do customer service virtual for another company. Being a content creator, I work with a lot of different brands through TikTok or just through other avenues. And then also being an awareness ambassador with the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation. Like, this weekend, I'm going to be rappelling off the side of a building in my mermaid tail
Wow.
for research. So it's like today, I was like, yeah, I have interview with you. I was like, and then hold on, one of my friends is in town, so I'm gonna go meet her at the beach. And then wait, I leave for the rappel on Thursday. So I'm like, my grandma's like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I really feel like after the first surgery, I really had this like, I want to live it up because I almost wasn't around. And then it was almost like a little too much of that. Like, people would say, hey, let's do this. And I'd go, I'm exhausted and I don't know if I can. But if I don't do it, what if I never get to do it again?
Yeah.
And I will tell you that's changed since the second brain surgery. I feel a lot more permanent. I'm like, I do say yes to a lot, but I've also learned the power of saying no and the power of like spacing things out. And I'm no longer, I used to try to be the first one at the party and the last one to be at an event. And now I'm the first one to be there and help you set up because then I want to leave once it gets crazy and there's a lot of people.
Yeah. I hear you there.
Your body doesn't let you. So, I feel like I had a lot of friends who are like, well, you always cancel to things. And it's like, I still want to be asked. Like, don't you, it sucks when I have to cancel.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to go, but like, so I really value the friendships who continue to ask you to come out, who to continue, or they change things and they're like, you know what? We don't need to go do that. Why don't we do this? And I think that's
So
very,
what do you typically do with your friends? You go to the beach and
I
like
like the beach. I'm a food. I love eating food. Let's go somewhere and eat some food. Like, that's about it. I haven't been to the movies in forever. I would rather do like yeah, I'm like eat, let's go to the beach, maybe let's go on a hike, let's go to it's all kind of, I guess, nature and just hanging out.
cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I do have some like have you heard of the Colbert questionnaire?
Yeah. When you said this, I was excited
I've got
because
a
I was
bunch
like,
of
I have no
questions.
idea what I'm going to be asked. So I have no idea what's going to come out of
Okay.
my mouth.
So I'm just warning you. So like I've got a bunch of questions here that I do want to ask you before we end everything. Um, First question. I don't have a graphic for this. I kind of came up with these just recently. So like, if you had a theme song that encapsulates you, what would your theme song?
I mean, instantly, obviously, Errol just popped into my head like, I want to be where the people are. Like, but it's
Okay. Okay. Eric? Okay. So who is your hero? Yeah.
Batman. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Batman's a cool guy. So
No, I mean, a hero, someone. Okay, let Jim Quick, because I think it's really amazing with his brain injury as a young kid, and now he's turned that into he helps other people with their memory, like normies with their memory, and so he's been definitely a hero.
Jim.
Gary V, Mel Robbins.
Cool. Are the again? I'm not too familiar. How did you meet them, or how did you become familiar with them? Through like
Those
Facebook?
internet. So luckily, after you spend a lot of time on bed rest, and I did not have a positive attitude. I know everybody. I was grateful that I was alive, but there was a lot of like, why does this have to happen to me? Like, why? And so I was on YouTube looking around, and Gary V, Mel Robbins, Jim Quick came later on. People were like, you should listen to him. You didn't know that he had a brain injury. I'm like, no, I had no idea. And so those were just people out there who, when I listen to them, they motivate me and
Very
help me.
cool. All right, next question. So, like, what's your favorite hobby?
Probably hanging out with my animals, like feeding them, doing different things. So animals
How
and
many animals do you have?
two dogs, two cats, two tortoises, one chicken, a
Two
lot of
tortoises?
snakes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Saltwater tank, and then we do have tarantulas and stuff like that.
Okay, here's another curveball for you. So, what is the mathematics number pi? Do you remember?
3.1456. Is
Three
it?
point one four one five nine two.
Oh, 14192.
Just so you know.
Hey,
Okay.
I knew the 3.14. I was like, I don't remember the rest of
Yeah,
it. Those last numbers, I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel like 5 6.
that's from what, like junior high or something, right? Okay. All right. Next question is coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee. Love it. Coffee ice
Coffee.
cream, coffee everything.
Okay.
What about you? Coffee or tea?
I'm definitely. I was a tea person, but I got a Keurig over Christmas, so now I'm drinking a lot more coffee.
Okay.
Never drank coffee before, but yeah, I'm definitely starting to like coffee more. But before I was tea. Okay, next question here. What's your favorite website?
That's hard. I mean, the one I probably use the most is the Zon, but I don't want that to be my favorite website.
What exactly is on?
Well, Amazon. I was just trying not to say it. Like, so I was like, the Zon. Like, I'm
So that's
trying not
the
to
way
use
to
it
say
as much. Okay, you guys.
it. Okay. Yeah, I gotta agree with you then. Now, you said you haven't been to the movies in a while, but what is the best movie snack? Popcorn or candy?
Popcorn.
Pop.
Popcorn with jalapenos, and you got to get the nacho cheese. And you dip the jalapeno in the nacho cheese, and then you smack that into the popcorn. Oh, it's delicious.
Because okay. All right. Now here's another question. Magic, is it cool or not cool?
I think it's cool. I've always loved magic. I love magic shows. I don't care that that's dorky. I'm always like, whoa, that was so cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care that it's live.
Honestly, I still love watching card tricks on YouTube. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but then like they show how they do them, the like solutions for them. Like
Okay, cool. I love
that's just
those. Yeah. I used to watch that. Yeah. Chris Angel, when they would show like how he did it and then whatever. Like,
yeah.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question. What is the capital of South Dakota?
Oh, no, you cut out. It was, what is the capital of? And then it
Of
cut out.
South Dakota.
I have no idea. South Dakota.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know your geography. That's okay.
No, I remember telling the teacher, when are we ever going to get a blank map? That's so dumb. And now I'm like, because then for these reasons. So you know what things are and where they are.
Okay. All right. Cool. Just had to ask that. Now karaoke. Turn up the volume. I'll cheer you on, or let's go home.
Turn up the volume or cheer you on.
Okay. So
Sure.
what's your go-to song in karaoke?
Probably Salt and Pepper Soup, because I know all the words and I feel like that song always gets everybody like going. And they're like, so yeah.
For some reason, I thought you would pick like Little Mermaid or something.
Oh, no, that those octaves, nobody wants to hear me singing that, but I can do soup.
Okay. Now, dogs or cats?
Both. We're not picking
Both.
one or the other, both.
Okay. Now, are you all about eating out or ordering in?
You know what? I like delivery. Can I order stuff? Like I want to bring it, but I like to eat it at home.
Okay. Couple more questions here. Tablet or mobile phone?
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone. Okay. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely. Pineapple and pepperoni is my favorite.
Okay. Smell. Last question here. Smell of fresh cut lawn, or cookies?
Cookies. Who's
Okay.
gonna pick lawn over cookies? Who would rather smell like
Some people like the smell of fresh cut lawns. Maybe
better
that's
than
just
a cook? Better than a cookie, man.
yeah. I don't know about that.
I
So
can't wait to see on this when you have more interviews who says lawn because I'm gonna go what?
what's up with that? Okay. All right. Well, I mean, thank you for that's all I really have for you right now. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. Oh, actually, one last question here. Any words of advice for anyone? For everyone?
It does get better, and if it's really bad right now, I want you to take a deep breath and sometimes just going and watching a movie and just unplugging and not always healing or working on things, you will feel better. Like the next day will be better if you can get some sleep, get a snack. Because there have been many a times I have cried and just felt like I don't even know how we're going to get through this. And you just breathe through it, distractions, call a friend, phone a friend, reach out to me. Um, I just think it helps because, we got a second chance. And so it does get better. And remind yourself that you do have progress, because I know so many times we can comparison is the thief of all joy. So when you're looking at other people's journey and you're like they recovered in this time and that time, I always try and remind people we all have our own journeys. It looks totally different. We all wish if it was faster and easier than it is. But it's in that journey and learning that like it's not a race to the finish line, like to try and uh, enjoy the journey while you're in it.
Oh, cool. Very cool words of advice. Yeah, but
Thank you.
yeah, thanks again for doing this, Tawnie. Like,
Of
yeah,
course.
we'll see if I can get more people to share, and then yeah, thanks for being the first guest. We'll see how
You're
this.
welcome. Yes, thank you. I'll have to do a follow up down the road when you've had tons and we'll catch back up.
Okay, I'll have some new questions for you. So, all
I love it.
right, cool. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Well, that was Tawnie, the Neuro Mermaid. So yeah, stay tuned, and we'll do this again with another amazing survivor. This is for the disability gorillas, but I think what we'll call this is the resistance. So yeah, because like disability gorillas is all about using exercise and physical activity to fight your impairments. So and in the gym world, resistance is like weight, and that's what you use to get stronger. So I think uh, when we act together as a resistance, the fight against these horrible diseases will only strengthen. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. I'll find somebody else to try this with. So take care. Galvez out.